to 4 based on what everyone was saying on Twitter, and at the moment Thierry Henry is leading this poll with 45% of the vote. Alan Shearer has 30%, followed by Wayne Rooney and Sergio Agüero just behind. So, you guys, do you agree? Thierry Henry, is he the best of all time?
Andy Cole, Harry Kane, Wayne Rooney, Dixie Dean, Luis Suarez, Sergio Agüero. These are a few of the most famous Premier League strikers, but who is truly the best? One of the biggest debates in English football is who is the best striker in Premier League history. Some people think it's an obvious person, while others believe in their club legends to fulfill this task. In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 5 according to some metrics and point system I came up with. We're going to determine who is the best striker in Premier League history by 7 different categories, which are best scoring season, highest Ballon d'Or finish, amount of golden boots, goals, goals per game, minutes per goal, and lastly, assists. These categories are going to be measured through a point system, which consists of first place having 5 points, while second will have 4 points, and so on until the top 5 who will have 1 point. These 7 categories will determine who, along these metrics, is the best Premier League striker in the history of the game. Off into the first category, best scoring season. We can see a lot of familiar faces, and a lot of people who will rack up points since there was a lot of ties. At the very last spot, going for 5th, is one of 2 appearances Thierry Henry will have, with a total of 27 goals scored in the 2005 season. Following Henry is Drogba and Harry Kane with 29 goals in the 2009 and 2016 season, respectively. Going into 3rd place, there was a 4-way tie with Thierry Henry's 2003 season, Kelvin Phillips' 1999 season, Harry Kane's 2017 season, and Van Persie's 2011 season. 2nd place, familiar to 3rd place, had a lot of ties as well. With 31 goals, Shearer had 2 seasons, 1993 and 1995, while Luis Suarez had the 2013 season, a year after one of the most memorable hat-tricks in league history. Notice how I did not include Cristiano Ronaldo, since I don't consider him as a true number 9. If I had to include Ronaldo, I would need to include Salah as well, and they're considered as wingers at their time. For the final spot, it is divided into 2 of the most famous strikers in English football history, Andy Cole's 1993 season and Alan Shearer's 1994 season. These 2 were at the top of the game, and the league saw in back-to-back seasons how both equaled their own record of most goals scored within a single season. Going into this season, this astonishing record is at major risk, with Erling Haaland approaching it with 27 goals already with 2 months left to spare. Best scoring season of course also rewards players who top their Premier League season in goals, and that's the Golden Boot. For the second category, Golden Boots are going to be accumulated based on how many times a player won it in their lifetime at the league, only considering Premier League Golden Boots. Earning 2 points is one of the most memorable seasons from a striker, and the team, in league history, Jamie Vardy. Vardy even hit a streak of scoring in 11 straight games and winning the league with Leicester City, who were a 5,000 to 1 favorite.
Rolling for Vardy, onside, Jamie Vardy!
Next up is a 4-way tie with Van Persie, Drogba, Michael Owen, and Jimmy Floyd collecting 2 Golden Boots. Shearer and Kane tie up for 3 Golden Boots, gaining 4 points each, and at the very top is Thierry Henry with 4 Golden Boots to his name. All these records and all these trophies, but who has their name in the record books for most goals in history? These are very familiar names, and names you will keep on looking in these lists. At the very top 5 is Sergio Agüero with 184 goals, and only being separated by 3 goals is Andy Cole with 187. In the top 3 is Harry Kane with 200, which is impressive since he can still be who is number 1. At second is Wayne Rooney with 208 goals, and at first, as you may know, is the legend himself in Alan Shearer with an astonishing 260 goals to his name. Off into the last category, based on goals, we have 2 separate parts. In the first part, it's goals per game ratio. This is not necessarily important to note, but it's good to know how consistent they were per game. In the 5th spot, surprisingly enough, is the top Premier League scorer in Alan Shearer with 0.59 goals per game. For the 4th spot, there was a tie between Luis Suarez and Van Nistelrooy with 0.63 goals per game. It's the first time we see Van Nistelrooy in one of these rankings, and it will not be his last. Up into 3rd place is Harry Kane with 0.64 goals per game, followed up by Sergio Agüero's 0.67. Thierry Henry tops the list with 0.68. Now, with minutes per goal, there were a few changes. In the last spot is Luis Suarez with 139 minutes, followed up by Kane and Van Nistelrooy with 128 minutes per goal. Surprisingly enough, Shearer is not even seen in this list due to the amount of games he played. Henry racks up second place with 122 minutes, while Agüero stands alone at the top with the best minutes per goal ratio in league history, and even worldwide is impressive enough with 108 minutes per goal. A great striker scores goals, and that's their main purpose, but if a striker can also assist his other teammates, it would be valued even more because of their ability to create for others rather than themselves. For the penultimate category, we have most assists all time. Again, not the greatest strikers will be on this list, but the most versatile ones are. Going in the 5th spot is Alan Shearer with 64, while Andy Cole goes after with 73. Thierry Henry, used first as a winger and eventually striker, racked up 74, being only 20 assists off second place Dennis Bergkamp with 94 goals. In first place is one of the most underrated and underappreciated strikers in Wayne Rooney, with an astonishing 103 assists to his name. Of course, numbers can't be everything to end a debate. Right into the last category, we have the Ballon d'Or. Although the Ballon d'Or should be a thing to determine the greatest striker in Premier League history, I feel it should be included because this is the ultimate prize for a high caliber player to get recognized for that year's performance. A lot of Premier League players get nominated for this award, but only a few get to say they have won it. Since not many necessarily won it, we will evaluate by highest finish for this prestigious award. For the 3rd spot, there is a 4-way tie between Thierry Henry's 2006 season, Cantona's 1993 season, Alan Shearer's 1996 season, and Fernando Torres' 2008 season, all finishing 3rd place. Thierry Henry will also get 2nd place, but it was 3 years earlier in the 2003 season, earning him the 2nd spot. And for 1st place, the only Premier League number 9 to win the Ballon d'Or, Michael Owen in the 2001 season. After carefully evaluating all these players with straight up statistics and their respective awards, we can now see who is the best Premier League striker. Building up to the best, we are going straight into the 5th best in league history, Andy Cole. Andy Cole was one of the best strikers in league history, but never quite transferred over his amazing talents to the English national team. Newcastle legend, but mostly in Manchester United, he was a winner and contributed to many of these trophies with his prolific scoring. In 4th spot is a man who lives by these moments throughout Manchester City's history, Sergio Agüero. When you think of South American strikers or even a Manchester striker, you think of Agüero. Agüero was one of the best strikers not only in the Premier League but over the world. Champions League hat-tricks versus Bayern, breaking goal-scoring records, and giving Manchester City the Premier League title on the last kick of the game, Agüero has done it all, and I'm glad he is in the top 5. Going into the top 3, we get to see a current player who I think is currently undervalued by the media and by world football, Harry Kane. Even though he plays for a team that doesn't necessarily win, that's why we should give more to his name. Current active top scorer in the league, England captain, poacher, and a playmaker, Kane does it all but get that prestigious trophy in the Premier League. Even though he hasn't succeeded with Spurs, this shows how good he is to be in the top 3 strikers in league history, with a lot of playing time to go. It's only a matter of time that he breaks Alan Shearer's goal-scoring record, only 60 goals behind. Speaking about Shearer, we head into the top 2. Alan Shearer is the epitome of a world-class striker, bagging a total of 260 goals in league history. It's a record that not many people think will ever be broken. From Blackburn Rovers to Newcastle, he made his name heard around the world. 34 goals, winning the Premier League, to being named in the UEFA Euro Tournament Best with winning the Golden Boot. Alan Shearer was everywhere. But all these accomplishments couldn't get him to first because of one man, Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry, a man feared by many, but loved by everyone. Once you saw those gloves and the long sleeve, you already knew it was over. The French wizard arrived to play his role as a winger, but rapidly evolved to the best striker in Premier League history. He was technically gifted, he had the speed, he had the swagger. He was like a modern day Mbappe, terrorizing defenses across Europe. He made the striker position even more creative, rather than only scoring goals but also creating for others as well. Part of the Arsenal dynasty and the upcoming French Revolution, he had everything. As Patrick Vieira said, Thierry is the best striker in the world. By far, he's the best in the world. Thierry doesn't just score goals, Even when he's not having a good day, he can make an important pass. He has a strong character. If things go wrong, he bounces straight back. His effect on the club is very big. From scoring goals, to winning the league, to finishing into the top 2 in Ballon d'Or, to winning the World Cup, to getting his own statue in front of the Emirates, Thierry Henry is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen.